You tell me. Hi, everybody. Good morning. I'm Kitty Benson. Ooh, got a little bit of music going on here this morning. I'm the minister here at Unity in Naperville. Thanks for stopping in. I'm not kidding. I can't stand still. I'm so glad you found us this morning. Found our band, Highest Good, this morning. We've got some really fun things to talk about today. And one of my favorite songs is coming up. I thought we'd start with. Actually, I didn't dream this up. They thought it up. But as you can see, I like it. Okay, so you might want to get up, do a little moving, get your blood flowing, get your heart open. Remember that you and I, the Christ within, all one. Let's have some fun today together, awake and aware of the truth of who we are, spiritual beings having a human experience. Let's sing.
Good morning, everyone. Let's sing. This very day, this very hour, I claim my good. I say yes to the power within me. This very second, I pay attention to the inner voice that beckons, the inner voice that beckons to me. Let's sing the verse again. This very day, this very hour, I claim my good. I say yes to the power within me. This very second, I pay attention to the inner voice that beckons, the inner voice that beckons to me. Let's say yes, yes, Spirit, yes, 1,000 times, yes. Yes, Spirit, yes, 1,000,000 times, yes. And yes, Spirit, yes, 1,000,000 times, yes. To the inner voice that beckons, the inner voice that beckons to me. Let's go back to the verse. Here we go. This very day, this very hour, I claim my good. I say yes to the power within me. This very second, I pay attention to the inner voice that beckons, the inner voice that beckons to me. You ready? Here we go. And yes, Spirit, yes, 1,000 times, yes. Yes, Spirit, yes, 1,000,000 times, yes. Yes, Spirit, yes, 1,000,000 times, yes. May I always say yes to the inner voice that beckons, the inner voice that beckons to me. Oh, let's do the chorus again. Yes, Spirit, yes, 1,000 times, yes. Yes, Spirit, yes, 1,000,000 times, yes. Yes, Spirit, yes, 1,000,000 times, yes. May I always say yes to the inner voice that beckons, the inner voice that beckons to me. I say yes. Good morning. Are you saying yes this morning? Go ahead, nod your head. I can see it. It's a beautiful day to say yes to Spirit within. And every day it's a journey, isn't it, Kitty? Every single day is a journey, and we're invited to say yes. We're invited to jump upon that train. Woot woot, right? Woot woot, jump on that train. Woo! Of spirit saying yes and moving in that spirit.
One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright.
Let's keep singing that.
One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Everybody, one love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. People get ready, there's a train a-coming. Don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. People get ready. People get ready. There's a train a-coming. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Everybody, one love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Let's take it up now. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Everybody, one love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright.
Are you feeling all right? I am feeling all right. Let's take a moment to just close our eyes and connect with that feeling. That's the feeling of life, divine joy, divine love, thriving and alive in every cell of our being. We thank you, sweet Spirit, as we join together this morning, our hearts, our minds, all of our being, one with God. And we thank you, Spirit, that as we move through this day and every day, we carry this one presence and one power within us, living through us, living as us. This is the truth of our being, and now we say, yes, God, yes. Amen. Will you join me in speaking our invocation? The words are up here on the screen. Together? There's only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Thank you.
You are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place, such a holy place. You are blessed peace, blessed peace is all that you are. You are blessed peace, blessed peace is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place, such a holy place. You are deepest joy, deepest joy is all that you are. And you are deepest joy, deepest joy is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place, such a holy place. You are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. Sacred love is all that you are. Sacred love is all that you are.
Yes, God, yes. Yes. So how you doing? Oh, wait, how are you doing? Our chairs are empty here this morning, but our hearts are full because we feel our connection with you wherever you are. Thank you so much for making time to be with us today. I just want to take a deep breath. Breathe in that breath of life. If you notice, the trees are starting to drop more of their leaves, and winds are picking up, so we really are in this swirling leaves of change, not just with the trees, but with our whole life experience here on planet Earth right now. And we've been talking about this for the last few weeks. Today's our last week to look at this topic. I've been asking you to kind of just stay in touch with what your life is calling you into as we're going through all these occurrences, even crises in our life. And maybe ask yourself what the collective consciousness is calling us all into. Is it possible that we have outgrown this current model of humanity and we're ready to take that next step, maybe even a flying leap into something higher and better? I know that for many of us, we are looking at this concept of evolution as something that can be scary. And you know, science, let me just kind of clarify this. Science would say that human beings are done evolving physically. So we're not going to grow like a third head, or a second head. How many heads do we already have? I was going to say ear, third ear. Okay, so anyway, physically we shouldn't have any more appendages coming on, but it is expected for human beings to continue to evolve consciously. Yes? This mind that we're using, we're barely tapping, as you can see. We wouldn't be having all these problems. As a matter of fact, I think Marianne Williamson said, your best thinking got you here. We need to do some better thinking. And it's about taking some time right now to sit between what's not working and waiting for what is working to come upon us. We talked about sitting in that space between stories, but not just quietly resting with no idea about what's happening next. I actually want you to keep your eyes open because I think that there are breadcrumbs being left for us to follow. I think we've actually started laying the groundwork for what's next. And as a matter of fact, I would say that we're already starting to walk the path of what's next. Evolution doesn't just go snap and we've instantly, completely changed. It happens gradually, little steps at a time for some of us and not all of us. And what I wanted to finish with today is to look at some of the models that are showing us how we as spiritual beings are evolving in this human experience in ways that are already visible and that we can actually choose to participate in if you're up for it. You might actually be participating in it already. So I wanted to start with a woman by the name of Barbara Marx Hubbard. Let's put her face up here on the screen. This is someone that I met actually when I first started attending a Unity church, clear back in the 90s, early 90s, in California. You know, California, they're out there. They're way ahead of most of us. And Barbara was what was known as a futurist. She just made her transition in 2019, so she's no longer on the planet, but I absolutely know that she is still involved in the planet. And Barbara Marx Hubbard believed in something about evolution that was new and unique for her time, and that was the words conscious evolution. She even wrote a book on that topic, Conscious Evolution. Not the evolution of consciousness, which is different when you think about it. Conscious evolution. One of the things she says up here on the screen is that we are evolution, becoming conscious of itself, intentionally choosing its future expression. Can you imagine that? That we are evolution itself? I've heard it said similarly that the universe is waking up to itself and it's starting to evolve consciously. But the thing that she tried to get across, and let me tell you, this woman actually ran to become and was nominated, or was one of the nominations for vice president with Walter Mondale back in the early 80s. And she didn't really have any intention of winning. She had an intention of getting to stand up before the world and share this idea of conscious evolution, which was about raising our way of living to a higher perspective in every perspective. She was such a unique woman that early in her life, she had this extraordinary spiritual vision come upon her, where just suddenly she was transported years ahead of our timeline to see where we were headed. And what she saw was that the powers of science and technology and the industry that we had built up was going to be used as a single power for good, a force for good. She was asking that question, how that was going to be throughout her life, but somehow she managed to find her way into President Eisenhower's office and said, what do you think, with all this science and technology and industry that we've created, this massive power that we have now, how do you see us using it for good? And his reply was, I don't really know. Well, she made it her life to find out. And her focus was on realizing that our consciousness had grown to the point where we could now choose how to evolve. We could choose to take these powers that we had created and put them to use in a way that eradicated hunger and poverty and war. She was one of the first ones that talked about, replacing the war room in Washington with a peace room. So she had this vision where, actually the way she puts it up here is, and this is so very us, she said, we're one, we're whole, we're good, we're universal. That was the vision that she had of us. Let's just say that together. We're one, we're whole, we're good, we're universal. All divine ideas, all ideas that we talk about here in Unity, which is probably why she came to speak in a Unity church. We were in sync. And so her life was about noticing what you had the ability to do with your consciousness and choosing to use your conscious mind for good. Taking all these human material and power-generated forces and use them for good. The second model that I've talked about in the past, I want to bring up just a little bit more about it today, is spiral dynamics. This was kind of brought in a way through Claire Graves, but Don Beck is really the person who developed it. And up here on the screen, if we take a look at the graphic of it, it's how they see human beings evolving, starting at the bottom of the spiral, and he color-coded it so that beige was about survival and purple was about the tribal and the community instincts, and then red came along and it was like dog-eat-dog world, take what you can get. And then blue came along and that was more of an order-based society, so think the Ten Commandments, and it's been around since, the Old Testament years, where they were focusing on a lot of rules and regulations about how to live. And then it seems, according to Don Beck, that we have moved mostly or at least 50% of the United States human beings are living in orange. And they call these memes, and the memes represent different values. So we had already talked about the orange meme as a value system about using our rationality, our science, our technology, our democracy to advance the individual. The orange meme is focused on me. It's focused on life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness for myself. It's focused on personal individual achievement and advancement. And it's materialistic in nature. So 50% of the United States, it's not 50% of the world, but it seems to have enough power in the United States that it can affect the rest of the world and how they are going to come up through that spiral. And then the next level up on the spiral is a green meme. And the green meme is informing the lives of about 25% of those living here in the United States. And it is an us meme. Its focus is on the group instead of the individual. It's the meme that, even though it feels like it's just really getting started in the United States, let alone the world, it's been having an effect in our lives over the last 150 years. When you see movements like the civil rights movement, the welfare movement, child welfare, gay rights, the environmental movement, feminism, those are examples of movements that are birthed out of a consciousness of the green meme. And the two key ideas around this are equality and community. But also they bring values like warmth and sensitivity, up here on the screen, caring and inclusion. These all describe where we're headed. The green meme, since it's got about 25% of us involved, it's seen as kind of the leading edge of our evolution right now. It's the one that's really kind of pushing us forward and bringing others with it. And one of the ways that they describe it up here on the screen is to seek peace with the inner self and explore with others the caring dimensions of community. Now, I should have warned you at the beginning of this to just kind of keep your ears open for what you're hearing today that resonates with you. A single word, some of the things that I've said so far about Barbara Marx Hubbard was conscious evolution, about using our power for good. She talked about that we're one, we're whole, we're good, we're universal. As you hear words that resonate with where you want to go as a human race, I'm just going to ask you to jot those down or put them in the comment box on the screen so that we can kind of just get a feel for where you are at. And then after the service today, we'll go into the live stream chat room and we'll talk more about where you think the human race is going or where you want it to go. So I also have a handout that's available in the live stream chat room today that will give you these resources of who to read more about and see what their main ideas are about. So we've talked about conscious evolution with Barbara Marx Hubbard. We've talked about spiral dynamics and the green meme. And then the third one is the life-sustaining society. This was introduced by Joanna Macy, and she tends to look at it as a great turning, the great turning. It's like all of humanity is going to turn in force in a certain direction from the one path that they've been on. She looks at society as having been the agricultural society for centuries, and then moved in the last couple hundred years into the industrial society, which really, has moved through its cycle a lot more quickly. Not that it's over, but what we're seeing now is the third society, life-sustaining, has recognized that what the industrial society created is also doing some damage. And one of the things, there's kind of dimensions to the life-sustaining society that they focus on. One of the dimensions, Joanna Macy would say, is about holding back the harm, the damage that is being done right now. Taking actions that stop what's being perpetrated through our economic system or our political system that's creating damage. So that's one focus. Another focus is creating new structures that sustain life. So some of the things that she talks about are making sure that our energy is sustainable, that we're creating networks for healthcare and transportation, that everyone has access to. She talks about shopping local, so these giant single conglomerates aren't the only ones benefiting. She talks about introducing peacemaking into the schools when children are young to learn how to get along. She talks about creating a welcoming community for those who are coming into the United States to feel like they are accepted. So those are structures that she's working towards creating, and a lot of people are tagging on to her and helping her out. The third focus goes back to the word consciousness. Life-sustaining society depends on shift in consciousness. And again, you'll hear some similar words here. She talks about recognizing that we are all connected, that my life affects others, that as I'm connected to one another, I want to be connected in a nurturing, compassionate way. I want my connection to feel like I belong and that you feel the same. It's a belonging consciousness. It's acknowledging that not only do quantum physicists tell us that there's just one of us here, that there's one field of energy, she would say that there is one presence of humanity all connected, and that we're here to serve something larger than ourselves. She would even refer us back to some of the native traditions that recognize that everything is sacred, that there is a wholeness to all that is birthed out of a sacred nature, and therefore you and I are holy. And so the way she might describe this on the screen is moving beyond tired old notions of competitive individualism, we come home to each other and our mutual belonging in the living body of earth. That's one of the things about the life-sustaining society, is it's focused on supporting the planet that we don't live on, but in. That's a language she would use, that we are part of the earth, not living on it and drawing from it, that we're integrated, connected, and that what we do to the earth, we do to ourselves. So I hope you could hear some common language among those three models. But as I was looking through these, I started to question where religion is going to fit into them. I mean, when you think about it, or at least for me, I was raised in a mainstream traditional Christian religion. And it was understood that evolving your religion was taboo. It was meant to be the same thing yesterday, today, and forever. That the scriptures that we read were written 2,000 years ago, and they are meant to be the same today. And that we should live according to this story and follow this dogma as has been laid out for us from centuries ago, which kind of puts religion in the blue meme. You know, when you remember that spiral, the blue meme was that which came upon the earth very rules-based, dogma-based, and hundreds or thousands of years ago. So I want you to take a look at what's happening right now. There are people being born, let's just say, less than 40 years ago, that are choosing not to participate in a structured religion. So anybody that's under the age of 40, church doesn't really have a meaning for them. These are the millennials and Generation Z, where they just don't connect. When you think about it, the churches know this, trust me. I mean, if you're a minister, you're reading a lot, and you're seeing all these different churches up in arms about, oh my gosh, what's happening to our congregations? And what's happening, 20% down in the last 20 years, that's a huge drop. And so what they're doing in various churches is they're trying to change their style to entice those under 40 to come back to church or to try coming to church for the first time. And you have seen some changes, but it's in style. It's like seeing a change where the minister no longer wears a robe, as you can see. Blue jeans are just kind of the basics. Ministers are no longer standing in a pulpit and shouting hellfire and brimstone. They're kind of down with the peeps and, being this authentic, casual type person. Obviously, I've gone a little bit overboard. You went from, the choirs. Remember the choirs? The very formal liturgical service to, we'll just say rock bands for better, to give the contrast here. The rock bands have shown up. We've tossed the hymnals, and we're working with media now. We've got screens hanging. So churches are trying to modernize in order to find a way to entice those to come in with this new style. But I've got to say, for me, it is not about the style. Now, a 40-year-old or underneath can come and correct me if they'd like to do that. But I really think that the lack of interest is not about style, it's about substance. And I will just say this as a minister, so I feel like I have some right to stand up here and say this. Our children for the last 40 years have been born into a generation. When they go to school, there are more cultures than have ever been before in a single classroom. There are more religions, there are more races, there are more sexual identities coming forward, there are all kinds of nationalities in the classroom. 40 and under have been born into an inclusive consciousness. That's what's natural, the inclusive way of being. And so to go to a church and hear it said that in order to be part of this community, you believe one way or else to hell with you, is not settling in their hearts. And so I wonder if church will be able to evolve in such a way that allows everyone to have this experience. I absolutely believe that since we are all spiritual beings, we all crave the opportunity to have spiritual experiences. And you would think we're better than to do it in a spiritual community, right? So if we aren't able to create a spiritual community that speaks to the heart of today's spiritual heart, it's going to be hard for us to feel whole. There's going to be something missing in us. This is one of the things that appealed to me about unity. And unity was birthed out of probably the first step in evolving religion, and that was the Transcendentalists. They were the ones, like Ralph Waldo Emerson, William Blake, who would talk about God within a blade of grass, within a grain of sand, within a petal of a flower, that you would see this divine essence and presence and consciousness, not just in a man sitting on a throne, but in all beings, all life, all expression of the universe. And from there, these new thought religious movements, like Christian Science and religious science and divine science and unity, came on the scene. Notice that science was showing up in many of their names because in this spiritual movement, they are acknowledging that spirit and science are one. That all that we might call science that we can see or not see under a microscope is also the invisible spiritual energy of the one presence and power. Now, unity doesn't have science in their name, but their name actually represents, our name, actually represents a unity of all traditional, universal, let me use that word, universal spiritual principles. Unity is about blending the universal spiritual principles into our message. And it's also about acknowledging our oneness with, quantum physics having this singular or field of energy. In unity, we speak of the one presence and power, all the same thing. So we have evolved to that point where we're not seeing God as this being on a throne, but as this everywhere present nature of the divine. And unity, I really feel like, is one of those movements that's out there on the leading green edge of consciousness evolving. It's seeking to grow in a deeper understanding of not only who we are as spiritual beings, but how we might live in this human experience as spiritual beings. While we honor all paths, that's one of the things that we say in unity, we honor all paths to God. We just happen to have chosen the one that was demonstrated by the life of Jesus, and that his expression of the Christ was just one way to show us how to reveal that infinite presence of the divine. And so we use him as our way shower, and we allow his teachings to continue to speak to us. We look at the Bible not literally most of the time, but metaphysically, beyond the literal, and see it in a way that has a deeper meaning for us in consciousness. This is where we are evolving. And one of the ways that unity, I want to tie unity back to that life-sustaining society. I actually came across that term at a recent ministers' conference, regional conference, and the woman doing the presentation started listing behaviors and interests of people who are moving into this life-sustaining society. And as she was writing them down, I was just furiously trying to copy down the ones that I thought we were already interested in unity. So let's take a look up here on the screen and see what some of the things are that belong to the life-sustaining society. It's people who are practicing mindfulness and meditation and yoga and self-care. They're into experiencing and expressing art or enjoying it. Kindness rocks. We've done kindness rocks here at Unity. We've done art presentations here at Unity. focusing on the power of gratitude. We've got a board president who's all about forest bathing and ready to host a group as soon as we can get outdoors together again. We came together with One Naperville to talk about a charter for compassion, and that's on the list. Heart math I've been teaching ever since I got here, and that's the idea of how the power of love actually is it's like a separate brain. It's a part of our heart's brain, and love is what opens us up to that inner wisdom. We've had sound healers here in this room using beautiful bowls and gongs. We've talked about hosting a vegan potluck. We have a worldwide earth care team in Unity, and we're making space continually for practicing the creative process. Those give you an idea of what the human being is headed towards in the life-sustaining society and the steps that we are already taking together. One last thing I wanted us to look at today is our mission statement. We just redefined our mission statement about a year ago. And when I look at it today, I see how it speaks conscious evolution. Let's take a look. And let's speak it together. We are a vibrant, inclusive community for personal growing and joyful knowing of our oneness with Spirit and each other. Now, we could actually unpack that word for word and see some of the many things that we've talked about this morning as our behavior resonates with the evolutionary process of our humanity. Just look at the word vibrant. That right there, the opposite of static, means that we are moving, we are movers and shakers, but we are growing, we are evolving. When you look at the word inclusive, we're talking about welcoming all faiths, all paths into this space. None of you are wrong. We are all open and receptive to where you want to be and how you want to live on this spiritual path. We talk about community. You know, we don't really use the word church that often here because it comes with a connotation, whereas community is about not a hierarchy of structure. This is about a community working together on their spiritual growth. We talk about personal growing as an emphasis here. You come here because you want to seek a deeper understanding of who you are as a spiritual being and how you can express that in your human experience. You are consciously choosing to evolve when you are doing the spiritual work that we focus on here. And we consciously choose to immerse our thoughts, our focus, into these universal spiritual ideas. Also, we talk about knowing not only our oneness with Spirit, which is something we consciously know we can't separate ourselves from, the one presence, the one power, and recognizing that because everything has sacred worth, we have sacred worth, and that we are expressions of the divine, but also knowing our oneness with each other. And what I do for myself, I am doing for you, and what I do for you, I am doing for others. What I choose to do as harm for another, I am harming myself and the planet that I live in. But we come back to that idea that what we individually do affects the whole. That is our mission statement and why Unity in Naperville exists. It can go very deep and very broad if you're willing to really do the work. So when we come to the end of this series today, I'm just asking you to acknowledge, first of all, your human qualities as you've been going through these changes. I understand if it feels like there is a threat to your health, to your life, to your finances, to the relationships that you have with people you know and don't know, to the planet itself. I can understand that. And I don't think this has come upon us by accident, nor do I think that we are part of a spiritual system where God has put these things on us to teach us anything or punish us in any way. But that if we look at the spiritual laws of the universe, we create our life experience through our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs. And so this is an opportunity to look at it as an evolutionary process where we have, typically what we do well is we come across some new idea, we learn about it, we implement it, we spread it out as far as we can, then we milk it for all it's worth and we twist it up into something really weird and drain it of all its life and energy, and then we say, oh, look at this mess. So it's possible that the messes that we see with COVID and with what's happening on our planet and what's happening in our racial relationships and a typical election process, with the economics the way that they are, it's possible that we've just milked it for all it's worth, or we've never actually started milking some of it for what it should be milked for, and we're realizing this isn't working anymore. So now, what is it calling me up to? What kind of higher vision do I want to hold for where we want to go? There will always be doomsday sayers who will say that, we're about to die. Chicken Little, the sky is falling. I just am not one of those people, because I know that everything here is an expression of the divine, and that if we will let it, the divine will triumph in such a way that what we experience is for good, is filled with life and love and peace and creativity. But we have to remember to turn within instead of watch the news. We have to remember that the power within us is the power of good, and that if we choose to allow it to express through us, then humanity will continue to evolve in such a way that love becomes the dominant force. I'm going to find that quote and bring it to you next week about Teilhard de Chardin that talks about when we finally discover love, man will have discovered fire once more. Yeah. So let me just finish with this quote from Jesus. In this world, you will have trouble. That's just kind of inherent in the evolutionary process. But take heart. Have courage. Hold the high watch. Feel a sense of hope. For I have overcome the world. Not Jesus the man, but the Christ Spirit of God that's in all of us. Call it by whatever name you will. But it is the divine within each one of us that will help us move above and beyond what is laid out before us in this moment. This is passing. But the love and peace and creativity and wisdom of God never ends. Let's take some time in the quiet with that. Let's just feel our connection to Mother Earth. You might want to feel your feet on the floor and imagine that the planet that you're sitting on, you're actually part of. You're an appendage, so to speak. And we thank you, Mother Earth, for all the life that you offer us. Let's take a deep breath of that life, that oxygen that she shares with us. As we breathe again, we recognize that that life spirit is also calming and soothing us. Breathe in. For it is the life of God. And not only is it nourishing our bodies, it's nourishing our soul. Breathe in. As we imagine that divine life thriving in every cell of our bodies, breathe in. We also recognize that divine life surrounding and infilling our minds, our hearts, our emotions. I am one with all life, a life that renews, that is vibrant, that is healing. I sense this power that not only animates my body, but is the very living energy active in this universe. This is a power for good, a force for love. I have nothing to fear. I simply allow this power to animate and activate all that I do for good. I sense this presence as an infinite supply. Each day's nourishment, resources, all provided in every moment, just as this planet is infinitely supplied with good. I give thanks for that ultimate supply that I know in my own life. And from this place of life, abundance, wisdom, and love, I relax and know that we are one. We are good. We are whole. We are universal. I allow this truth to be lived as my life and give thanks that all things are working together for our highest good. Thank you, God. Amen.
Yes, I used to, years ago, I would take offense from other people. I'd say something, and if they didn't give me the right response back, in my estimation, then I would take offense. Sometimes I would even I'd say hi to somebody, and if they didn't say hi back, then it was, oh wow, they don't like me, or they don't. But actually, I see now it's none of my business what other people do. It doesn't matter what they do. I'm just going to put it out there, and how they respond is their journey. And so I've become much more unattached to outcomes, and it's really freed me up, and I feel really free to live my life.
Thank you, Kevin. Thanks for sharing that with us. I'm really enjoying these opportunities to hear from many of our community who are just sharing different ways that they have experienced life since they've experienced some of these universal teachings that we offer here at Unity. And it's your loving gifts that help make that possible. And so during this time when we share our tithes and our love offerings, I just want to say thank you for helping to change lives, because we couldn't do this without you. And that as you give, so shall you receive. What we like to do is bless what we give give, and allow that blessing to enliven it, to make it more vibrant. So let's speak these words up here on the screen as we bless it together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. Thank you. And we have a couple ways for you to be able to give. There are donate buttons on both our Facebook Unity in Naperville page and also on our website, unityinnaperville.org. Or if you'd like to mail your gift to our P.O. Box up here on the screen, it's P.O. Box 9733 in Naperville, and the zip is 60567. Thank you so much for your loving support.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
And we're offering so many ways that you can continue to explore spiritual community with us here at Unity. One of the things that I want to say, first of all, is thank you if you're here for the first time. Thanks for finding us. Yeah, thank you for making the time to be with us today. We love to meet new people, even if you're invisible. We know you're out there. But if you want to stay in touch all week long, you can just add your name to our mailing list, and we will send you a newsletter via email every Tuesday. So just go to unityinnaperville.org, and right there on the homepage, there's a place for you to add your name and email address to our mailing list, and we'll stay in touch that way. This coming week, we're continuing Tuesday and Thursday at noon for the Lunch Together Online. Kim Char, how's that going with you guys?
It's going great.
Good.
We're staying healthy, eating.
Yeah, so bring whatever you eat to your camera, to your laptop, or your phone, and let's just chat and keep up with each other since we can't see each other in person. Yes. We'd love to have you join us. Go to unitycommunityconnect.com, and then you'll see a Lunch Online channel where you can just click inside there, and then you'll find the Zoom link. So we'll see you there. Also, Tuesday night, we're continuing our class, and actually more of a book discussion. Sharon Jebsky's doing a great job of leading us, and she's been bringing in guest facilitators as well. Last week was really wonderful. We're exploring the book Walking with the Wind by John Lewis, one of our civil rights leaders, part of the movement with Martin Luther King. And his book is talking about just how the spiritual consciousness was part of the 50s and 60s civil rights movement, but also how we can continue to evolve that in our future. So I hope you'll join us. You don't have to have the book. I didn't have my book hand me. Oh, I did have it last week, but I hadn't read much of it, and I still got so much out of it. So I hope you'll come and join us. You can go to unityinnaperville.org, and right on the homepage, there's a link to the group. We're meeting.
We cannot stress, they don't have to have the book or have
Yes. Okay. So Tuesday nights at 7 for the next 3 weeks. What's happening after that?
I hope you'll join us for the Zoom Room of Doom.
OMG, Reggie, that is funny. That is so funny. Kudos, my friend. You got that one nailed. Yeah, so there's a lot going on. Do you know the details of it, what people are supposed to do? Or
Well, you know, it is a costume contest.
Okay.
Not only for the adults, but for your kids, your grandkids, your pets.
Oh, there you go.
So we're going to be having our costume contest. We'll have some Halloween jokes,
Okay.
a Halloween story, not
Yeah.
scary at all.
Bring
Not
your own candy.
Bring your own candy.
And I know that we're going to be in kind of close confines with your Zoom camera, so you might want to put special emphasis on the face. Get out some makeup and
Oh, yeah.
let's see some of those beautiful pumpkin faces. Okay, that's what? When is that? Saturday?
Saturday, right?
Halloween is
There
Saturday,
it is.
so that
Saturday
starts at
7:30
7:30. Yeah, so go to unityinnaperville.org, our website, and there will be a link to get you in there, right? Yes, on the homepage graphic.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, great. Hey, you guys, we had a recommendation for how we sing happy birthday to people every month, the first Sunday. We want to actually see your faces that we're singing to. So if you would like to do this, we'd love to get a picture of you and your birthday for those of you who are born in November. And if you quickly send that through email to admin@unityinnaperville.org. Then next week, on the first Sunday of the month, when we sing to you, we'll put your faces up there so we can all celebrate you. I hope you'll do that. admin@unityinnaperville.org. Name, face, and what day you were born on. Thank you. And all the other things coming up in the next few weeks, you can find on our event calendar at unityinnaperville.org. So just check us out online all the time to see what is the most recent added events coming up. And if you would like someone to pray with you today after the service, our prayer chaplains are available to call you. So if you can just send an email between now and 12:30 today, send it to prayer@unityinnaperville.org with prayer on call in the subject, and just make sure you include your name and phone number, and a chaplain will call you between 12:30 and 1 today. We got another song?
We do.
Let's finish with one more song. Sorry.
Turn this up. Okay.
Let's sing together. Blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen.
Give some love to our band, Kim Char and Mark and Kevin, for your beautiful music. So love you guys. Can we please give some love to Parker and Cindy at our tech team today? So grateful for all your love, doing a beautiful job to help us be basically talking to the world. So thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you for helping us talk to the world. What we're going to do is just finish with a closing affirmation in case some of you have to run. But then we want to hear from you today. If you want to just share thoughts or ask questions about today's service or what's going on at Unity, we'll do that here. You can just text us or put it in the comment box right now. And then we'll also meet you live online so we can see you on Zoom. And I really want to hear back from you about how you see humanity evolving. I think that'd be a fun conversation. Mm-hmm. So to start with, let's speak our closing affirmation up here on the screen. This, my friends, is our vision statement. different from our mission statement. Our vision statement is, if everything were perfect and everything had evolved just the way that we wanted it to, what would it look like? And here's what you came up with. Let's say it together. Centered in love, we celebrate the expression of God as peace, wisdom, and abundance in this awakening world. And trust me, that awakening process will never end. So thank you all for being here today, and I'd love to hear from you now. Up here on the screen, there is a text number that you can send me, a text on my phone, 630-793-0993, or drop some comments in your Facebook comment box or on the website comment box, and we'll talk back at you right now.
Let's see what we have here. This is from earlier. I wouldn't mind having a third ear. That's from Kathy Falser. Hi, Kathy.
Especially all those parents who need to hear their kids and what they're
That's
doing.
Right. Gordon says, I'm absolutely terrified. I'm hoping that's not because of your message, but maybe the Zoom room of doom?
Oh.
Is that what it was?
Oh my
Okay.
gosh, I hope so.
Not your message, Kitty.
Okay, good. what's our number? 630-793-0993. Get out your phones and text me, or let us know in your comment box. I can only see 3 things that happened on the comments way back an hour ago, so I don't know.
Mine aren't updating either.
I don't understand why I can't
keep on
see.
looking. Hold
So
on.
let me just hit a stop here. Stop. Cross that out. Oops, she's still moving. I don't understand Facebook in the least. Does anyone? Okay. Oh, I'm still talking like years ago. You guys are so far behind.
I have, let's see. Oh, you know what? Sharon Jubsky got us that full quote from, is it
Teilhard de Chardin?
Chardin? Shall I read it?
Oh, yes, please.
The day will come when, after harnessing space, the winds, the tides, and gravitation, we shall harness for God, the energies of love. Maybe for good?
Yep.
Okay.
No, for God.
And on that day, for the second time in the history of the world, we shall have discovered fire.
Love that one. Thank you, Band and Parker and Cindy, says Karen. Jeanette,
Karen.
thanks for the heads up, Mary Beth. We don't know what Mary Beth is giving the heads up on. On what? Oh, hey, if you're still watching, is it this Sunday? Are you
Is
sure?
it this Sunday?
I hope you're right, because I'm about to tell people to set your clocks back
Wait.
1 hour.
Do we get an extra hour? Does that mean I
You
get
get an extra hour. Yes.
I
So
like
y'all
it.
check your calendars, check your Yahoo weather or whatever that tells you when the clocks really change for sure. Because one of the times during the year, it's the second Sunday of the month, and the other time it's the first Sunday. So I just want you to be sure. Otherwise, you'll miss church. Okay, somebody said...
So, Parker, if you see a Facebook comments back there that you want to throw out, feel free to do so, because we don't get the most up-to-date ones up here for whatever reason.
Yeah, I don't...
But you know what? I'm going to shout out to all the people who are watching. Susan Rittenhouse,
Am I
Margot
on?
Davis, Sue Rio, Kelly Meinhardt, Cynthia Moon. I'm just saying hello because you guys said hi and joined us online. Artie, Mary Wand, Patricia Calasini. I'm not sure. Have we met Patricia?
I might have, and just didn't know her last name. But hey, Patricia, good to have you
morning.
back.
Thanks for being here. Karen Hernandez, of course. Arlene Hudson. Hi to all our
Karen
friends.
Hernandez says November 1st is
It is.
the day.
Is the day we turn our clocks back. Okay, so
Get
good
an extra
news.
hour. Yeah.
Stay up for the Zoom room of doom, and then get an extra hour of sleep that night.
Lovely.
Back here at 10:45 in the new time
That is
zone
lovely.
next Sunday. We'll put that in our e-news. Can you help
Oh,
remember
yes.
that?
Yeah.
Put it in our e-news
okay.
just to help people. Okay. I just still can't access comments, so hopefully
Anything else there, Parker?
nothing. Okay.
Just a reminder, Kitty's handout.
Okay, Cynthia Moon loves a mission statement. Thank you, Cynthia.
And don't forget your handout is in the video chat, the PDF.
Yes.
Yes. Go ahead
Okay.
and download that.
All right. So my handout's in the PDF in the
Channel.
unitycommunityconnect.com live stream chat channel. Press the... Oh, no, we don't do Zoom for a PDF. We just download the
Grab
document.
it. Just grab it.
Yeah, just grab it. Okay, not got anything else? All right, my dear, I really want to have this conversation with you, so here's what you do next, up here on the screen. Go to unitycommunityconnect.com and then look for the channel that says live stream chat. And then once you're inside there, there's a connect to go to the video chat, probably at the top of the screen there. And then I'll see you, I'll hear you. I want to hear everybody's comments about where you think human beings are going. This will be a fun one.
It
So
really will be.
see you soon. Love you guys.
Bye-bye.